Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. I just wanted to pop in here and say hey. I haven't done a video in a little while. I feel like it's a little dark, so I'm going to try and turn on one of these like portable little lights I have. Nope, now it looks like there's a weird search party looking for me on the side there. Yeah, I just wanted to come in and say Happy New Year and chat because I realized I think the last time I posted a video on here was like I can tell you exactly right now, almost a month ago. Actually, it was just over a month ago. It was December 7th. And um, I just wanted to make sure that I keep in the habit of posting on here regularly because I'm going to get it down to a science. It's going to be weekly. Yeah, all like I've said before, I want to do videos about like local places to go and eat, local places to go and have a drink, just like what I'm up to in my life, in my like regular life, and then like fun projects I'm working on or like what I'm doing with friends. I just feel like it's a thing that it's fun for me, but I have to stay in the habit of it, not because I don't want to. Otherwise, it'll just always be in the back of my head and I'll just keep saying, oh, I want to, I want to, I want to, I want to. And then I don't do it. So today it was one of those where I was like, oh, it's getting late. Maybe I shouldn't. And I'm like, no, I wanted to do this on New Year's Eve for a few minutes. Look, my mic is pulling my shirt down. Excuse me. Hello, fresh mic. Like my Stranger Things Surfer Boy Pizza shirt. There's stuff on the back here too, but I'm in my pajamas right now. Actually, I'll transfer from this t-shirt into a tank top or something like that. And then, but I am wearing some sweatpants. So, yeah, I just wanted to get a habit. I wanted to do it on New Year's, but I ultimately decided like it was a little chaotic because if you don't know, my birthday is January 1st. So I just had my birthday. Yay. It was a very good birthday. The first one I've spent in Florida in a long time. But the joke is I keep saying, well, maybe it's the last one I'll spend in Florida. So I have to so I was like, I want to come down and make sure I spend it with some friends here. And then, my best friend Kim flew in and she was here for a couple of days with me, and that was wonderful. And I had some people over on the 31st and some friends. We played some games, had some fun drinks. We got the Soto Square pizza. I'll have to do an actual like proper video review of this, but if you follow me on Instagram, which my thing is RYNO11850 over there, that this pizza is like life-changing. So it's so good. It's like a Detroit style pizza. So someday, at some point, I'm gonna do a little video of that too, because the world needs to know. The world needs to know. And plus I like helping businesses, like especially like local businesses and things like that. Like when a place is cool, I want people to know it's cool. And I feel like people ask all the time. Like I've had friends like through work and stuff who have gone to places, and I take a big I'm not somebody who's just going to say it's good. I'm either going to say it's good or I'm just not going to talk about it. I've had told people about Domu, which is there's a couple of locations now throughout Florida. I think there's like 4, because there's the original Domu, which is in East End Market where the original Gideon's is, and there's a Domu that is in Dr. Phillips. It's not far. It's like right between the Disney and Universal theme parks. And then there's a Domo Chibli. I call it Chibli. I don't even know if that's how you say it. That's just how I've chosen to say it, because once I see a word, I've just decided that's how to say the word. That's up by UCF, and that's like a quick service version of their things, but they do these cute little sandos there. And then there's one in like Jacksonville, I think. There might be another one too, I'm not sure. But hello, everyone. I'm not ignoring you. I'm looking in the chat as I go. I'm trying to do a multitask here, but it's important to me with stuff like food and drinks, and I love when somebody shares like a cool food or a drink place with me. So I want to be like, I don't know. I want to share that with people because I feel like, in this day and age, we're all fighting against an algorithm that's working against us. So, help spread the word for people when it's a cool place. So, on my birthday, like I said, on December 31st, I had people over and we did like I said, had drinks, played games, and ate food. Ate way too much food, but and then on the first, I had some other friends I went to a brunch with in downtown Orlando. We went to this place called Ace Cafe that I always see from the highway, and at first I was a little nervous because there was like a car show in the parking lot, and I was like, "Is this okay for somebody like me?" And then we got inside, and it was pretty decent. I'm not gonna lie. All I wanted was avocado toast. They didn't have avocado toast, and then they had peanut butter and jelly shots on the menu. And when I ordered one, they didn't have peanut butter and jelly shots, so I was like, "Oh, strike two." But I ended up getting this like skillet. It was pretty good. I would go again. But then like I had these friends because they live about an hour away from Disney parks, and I was like, let's go to these bars, One Up Orlando and Cocktails and Screams, because I want to show my friend these like super um, insanely themed places. And every bar in like downtown Orlando was closed on January 1st. So it was wah, wah for me. So then we tried to go to Disney Springs, and that was a mess. That every parking lot, every garage was full. I was like, let's not even do this. So we left, and my friends went home, but my friend Kim was still staying with me. And I was with my friend Chloe too. Um, so we all decided we were going to go to the second Susaru location. I believe it's Juju by Susaru. So it was Eli, Kim, Chloe. So it was four of us, and we went. It's inside of an old Pizza Hut. I mean, you wouldn't. I couldn't tell looking at it. I mean, I know because I know, but man, oh my gosh, the food and the drinks here are so good. This one's off of 50. It's by the Fashion Square Mall. If you're familiar with like Central Florida at all, but yeah, it was very good. So it was a fun birthday, and I got my friend Kim to watch. She somehow let slip that she had never seen the Star Trek 2009, like the J.J. Abrams Star Trek movies. So we watched a Star Trek movie each night she was here, and then watched some of the original series movies. So we watched Wrath of Khan, obviously, because after Into Darkness, you have to watch Wrath of Khan. So we watched Wrath of Khan, Search for Spock, Voyage Home, and then I made her skip 5, and we watched Undiscovered Country. And now she's back in Milwaukee, and she's watching Generations, First Contact, and I don't know where she's gotten yet because she hasn't responded to me yet. But yeah, so a Star Trek fan I have made out of her, all just because I was like, Strange New Worlds is so good, and I love Discovery, blah 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 blah. So I don't know, I love Star Trek. I love Star Wars. I like both. I like both things. So I actually have a drink here that I'm gonna have that I'm just sitting here while it cools. I went to Treehouse. I was gonna like make videos about going home, and then I was gonna make videos when I was at home of these places, because there's this place on Court Street in downtown Plymouth, Massachusetts called Koji. It's a Korean barbecue place. Oh my god, it is so good. There's a stone bowl bibimbap that is just like change your life. Change your life. I know I said that about the pizza. Same thing with the stone ball. Change your life type of food. There's also this really cool cocktail bar there now too called Honey Baby, that I went to when I went home in the beginning of November. That the next time I go, I definitely have to go back again. But highly recommend. I ultimately decided that I was going to take the time in Massachusetts for myself and just kind of keep the camera away, because it was about going home to spend time with family. And my grandparents they will be 90 at the end of this year, but they hosted Christmas for the first time in like pre-COVID. So it was almost 3 years, and so I wanted to make sure that I was like fully into that. So I took some video and pictures of that for my family and stuff like that, and just wanted to be like present and in the moment. It was good. It was good. I was there for, I think, from like leaving here, which is a 2-day drive up, 2-day drive down. All in all, it was about like 10 days, I think. But yeah, I'm gonna try and make a habit this year of like flying up there, be like 3 months. Because I don't know. I'm gonna be realistic. The thing is, my grandfather is a little bit on the decline. Wonderful man, wonderful parents. My mom is a single mom, and I got off the school bus every day at my grandparents' house. And so I consider, like, when people are like, "Oh, you're what," like, I am not a traditionalist in terms of family. Like, I don't think it's a mother or a father or children. Like, that's also why I've never, well, also because I'm gay, but I was like, I never been like, "Oh, 2 men or 2 women can't do it," because I had like my mom, and not that my dad wasn't like around, but uh it was I mean, during the week it was my mom and it was my grandparents. So like I feel like there's all these labels that you can put on everything, but I feel like I grew up incredibly fortunate in terms of my family dynamic. Like, I would do it all again if I could, because it was like an adventure, and I always had somebody watching me at the games, the plays, everything, always supporting me. And so I feel very, very fortunate in that sense. So I want to make sure, this time in the life, that it's like going back there. But also, is anybody else having this thing now where they're like "Oh, our parents are young, our parents are young," and my mom and my aunt both were like, "We're in the twilight years of our life," and I was like, what?" Because my mom turns 60. She's gonna kill me, I just said that, but she turns 60 in a month in February, and it's like, um, my mom's young, but, oh, Kim texted me back. "We're doing Into Darkness tonight because apparently 3 AM is bedtime." Um, but yeah, so she's very into it. She's making her husband Mike watch them now. So I'm opening a Julius from Treehouse. But anyway, that was my thing about how great my grandparents and my mother and everybody is. I feel very fortunate. Um, uh, Listen, here's the thing. Age is just a number. It is a state of mind. It is not who we are. It is not what makes us young or old. It is our souls that do that. It is our state of being. So if you are 70 years old and you feel like you're a 24-year-old, then you live that life. I mean, don't be like breaking legs and hips and stuff like that, but So that's how I'm feeling. The older I'm getting to, the more I feel like that, where it's like, I know I'm from a generation that is holding on to nostalgia a lot tighter than any other generations have historically done, but who cares? If it makes you happy, who cares? So this is Julius. This is a IPA. I went to the Treehouse in Sandwich, Massachusetts. I met a really good friend there. Somebody knew who I was there too. They stopped and said hello, and that was like, it was one of those like perfect timing. So I was like, oh, I feel so cool right now. No, but it was like, it was essentially with my friend that is more or less like my not idol. What's the word? Mentor, sort of a person. And so he was just like, good for you. I don't know. It was funny. Um, but yeah, Julius, somebody in Massachusetts. No, I had this from my friend for the first time at his house, and then now here we are, like years and years later. They opened one in Sandwich, Massachusetts, and I finally got to go, and it was cool. It was very cool. All the beer. I spent so much money on beer, so much money. So I'm trying to like enjoy one. I don't want them to go bad or anything like that, but uh, yes. Lindsay Sellers, hello. Hello to everybody in here. Obviously, D, Lindsay, Rafi. I know how important. I know that you and I relate to our grandparents in a very similar way. I think emotionally, and everybody, your grandparents are your grandparents. But I feel very fortunate because I'm 38 now, and so yeah, my grandparents being like 90 is like, I feel like they were also like relatively young grandparents. So I don't know. I feel very fortunate to have spent the time with the people I've spent. And I just, no time will ever be enough time for the ones that we really love. So it's like, I think that's the thing going into 2023 that we should sort of hang on to. I'm not one to lecture people about that. I'm just saying it out loud to kind of condition myself into that mode. But it's hard sometimes because so much of life just kind of gets in the way. And it's just time. Time is the thing that there's no more of it, and it's just, I don't know, it's that thing, so don't let people take it away from you. Cheers to that. Hope Tori, I didn't see you in there too. Hello everybody. I'm sorry, I could read through all these names. I just see the ones that pop up in here so frequently, but I hope everybody had a good New Year's. Okay, I need to talk about something too, because we did a thing on New Year's, but I don't know if you're following this woman on Instagram. Let me see if I can find her handle just so we have it. Her name is Babs, and let's see, Babs, but her Instagram handle is Brunch with Babs. She had a video, I think it kind of went viral. It was around Halloween where it was about like how to carve a pumpkin. Like you're supposed to carve the bottom of the pumpkin, not the top of the pumpkin. And then you can use like a hand mixer and scrape out the inside. And then you're supposed to put cinnamon on the top of it so that when you put the candle in, it makes it smell amazing. Anyway, I like basically was like, there's no way this woman will ever have more videos that have incredible things. Yeah, she's put out like a million video or of these like reels on Instagram and posts and stuff. And it's just like, she's got tips and tricks that I am just obsessed with this woman now. Like I want to get her book, but I didn't yet because I'm really bad about just pulling the trigger on things like that. But and I I I just she okay, where did I start the story for? Because you couldn't follow her because so she did like all these things for Christmas. One, so I told my mom, I showed my mom the thing. Babs had an overnight it was an overnight breakfast casserole that she said she does for her family every year. So it was super simple. It was like milk, eggs, like 3/4 of a 3/4 of a sour not sourdough, not sourdough, it's the other one. It was like a thick bread. I can't remember off the top of my head what it is, like a challah bread or something. She wrote challah in the description, but she said something else in the other one, so I can't remember right now. But it was that, and then like cheese, sausage, egg, uh, milk, the bread, and then just like I think like maybe like a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, and a little bit of like mustard, dry mustard seasoning. And you just, like, leave it in the refrigerator overnight, and then you bake it for, like, 45 minutes in the morning when you wake up. Holy guacamole. It's essentially like a quiche, but this stuff, every year. We're doing it every year. It was so, so good. It was so good. And then, she also had, like, a slow cooker hot chocolate that was good. And my friend Amber, who loves her too, she did her mulled wine that she said was, like, off the chain. So I wanna do that one of these days if we hopefully have another cold day here. And then, but this lady is just, like, she's like such a crafty person, and I love people that I love a good life hack and a craft, and I love when people do things like that breakfast casserole. Like, it was so simple, but when you, like, have it and you taste it feels so elevated, you know what I mean? Like, I love that sort of accessibility for people. That's how I like to approach everything, is, like, simple enough that you'd be, like, not intimidated to do it at your house. That's how I feel about, like, the bourbon drinks that Jill and I do, on the Ampliverse YouTube channel. If you ever wanna watch that, they're over there. Um, I always want it to be something that's simple, and sometimes Jill gets carried away in terms of that stuff, but I will always try and bring it back down. But one thing I've learned from her is how to make syrups, and so I made all these syrups. We made a cinnamon pear, there was a cranberry, and there was a chai tea one. The chai one was so good. Put the chai and the pear together and put that in a mimosa. That again, I've used it. This is thrice now I'm saying it. Change your life. Change your life. So Tori asked earlier, am I moving to Los Angeles? And I do not have that plan at present. I don't think I would move to Los Angeles. If a job opportunity came up and it was working in the business, I 100% would take that job. There's no question for me. So if anyone out there in Los Angeles wants to give me a job, I'm here for you. I'd rather move to like Irvine, which is like outside of Los Angeles, closer to like Anaheim. I'm not saying because of Disneyland, but Irvine is just like my friends live there, and it's very pretty. It has a lot of parks. There's a lot of green space there, and so that's what I would need, is like green space. I feel like a teeny tiny yard or something like that. So I know I am not meant to be lived in to live in like a super dense populated place, but I could work in a place like that, so I don't mind commuting. Um, yeah, I don't know. I just know that Florida ain't it for me. That's all. So it's like I'm trying to manifest that. I'm trying to do a couple of things just to see what could happen, so who knows? We'll see. This year I have decided I am devoting myself to creative projects that I wanted to do. There was uh, a book I was writing. I'm not a writer, but I was writing like a little kids book that was only going to be like 120 pages or something like that. And I got a pretty solid outline done. So I want to like hop back and see. I want to challenge myself and see if I can finish it, and then just like give it to my like nephews as a gift or something like that. Because it's really kind of like about them and what it would be if they were like in a Goosebumps book, essentially. So um, I just think it would be like a fun thing to like give my family, and they'll be like, "Why'd you give us this crap?" um, but yeah, so that, and then I've got a like my friend's working on a script that I'm very invested in making sure that he finishes and gets it made, because I want to read and see it. And then I've got another script idea I was working on, and I would like to make something, even if it's just like a 5-minute little short, something that isn't a video at Disney, or like I want to try and do a narrative story again. I used to make them just for fun, and now I'm like, I haven't done that in forever. And I know part of that is about surrounding yourself with people that are also invested in doing that sort of thing. So that's kind of a little bit of the difficulty, but it's like that's part of the challenge. So it's like if I really want to do it, I'm going to do it. So, but yeah, let me look through here again. Sorry. Um, oh, Rafi went to a city walk for New Year's Eve. I am curious about how that went. I saw videos of like Epcot from New Year's Eve. My God, I didn't know it was like a giant club. Um, So I have got to get back down to the bottom of the chat. Vanessa says, "What about Milwaukee?" So if I, yeah, I love visiting my friend there. I like being cold, and I think they have a thriving art scene, both with like theater, like paint. Like I don't know how you separate like when it's actual paintings and stuff like that. Like just art, theater. I think it just looks to me. I love a place when you look around and everywhere you look. I don't know who else thinks out there like this, but for me, it's like, ooh, that's a cool shot. Ooh, that's a cool shot. That's a cool shot. That's a cool frame. Oh, I'd love to frame a shot like this. I'd love to frame a shot like that. And that's sometimes where I was like, I have to make movies. Like I don't need to. I like movies in terms of it being a community-based project that so many people are working on to make this cool thing that other people get to enjoy. So I'm not an ego-driven person in that sense. I just know that it's something I want to do, and I want to find other people that want to do that. Um, but I think Milwaukee has like a great vibe and a scene right now, because they're going through their own sort of like renaissance when it comes to like food and beer and, like I said, all that art stuff. And it's a very walkable city. I mean, there are parts of the city that are still in decay, and so but it's really come a long way, I think, from what people think it used to be. And so I would love to showcase that. And so the next time I go to Milwaukee, I'm going to make sure to make some videos to share with all of you out there so that you can see that. But I've also like I just think it's one of those areas that's ripe for an opportunity, something to happen right there. And like people aren't tuned into it yet. And there's something there where I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, something. I got friends out there. I got friends. I mean, my best friend lives out there, but I am so sorry. I got this drink right here. Why am I coughing? I can just drink it. Oh gosh, if you ever do go to Treehouse, you have to get a Julius. It's my number one most recommended. Green is also very good. They had a bunch of Christmas beers. I got a bunch of them, and I'm down to like one can each of those ones. So those ones they get to wait till the end now. But I had like a 4-pack of Julius. So this is my first one of the Julius, that 4-pack, and I split a green with my friend while she was here. But Maine. My mother has a house, but it's in like an isolated area of Maine. It's in Jackman, Maine, and I was like, it's 6 hours, and you lose cell phone service for like an hour and a half, and I don't want to be like, it was like, I need the cell phone service, but it's a little scary. But I used to go to visit my friend Kim. Went to Bates, so I used to go up to that area, not Portland. Oh my god, I cannot Lewiston up there, and I liked it up there. Kim would always be like, "Oh, it's so small, whatever." I liked it for my visits. Um, Keith, Seattle. I was only there for a day. I loved Seattle. I thought Seattle was really cool. What I loved about Seattle and Vancouver specifically, because that was also a great city. I had a wonderful time there. Was it was all very green. Like a lot of it was surprisingly green for like a big city. Seattle though was one of those places too, where it's just like everywhere you look, it's like, wow, this is why so many movies are like set here. Just like aesthetically, it has like a very gorgeous look to it. Like I said, it's very green, and it had what Vancouver I feel like had amplified to another level. A lot of it's like gardens and like trees on top of buildings. Does that make sense? Like all the greenery on top of a building, which I just think is like so fascinating. Not to mention it's like a thriving queer city as well. I feel like it's basically run by homosexuals, which is like, cheers to you, cheers to me. We'll see. I want to visit. I want to go to all these places. I'm reading through the chat. Apologize. Um, yeah. I hope everybody did have a good holiday season, whatever you celebrate. I had this conversation with my mom because my mom said the thing where she's like, "Oh, well, I just don't like that. You can't say Merry Christmas anymore." And I was like, "Mom, who said that to you? Like, you can say Merry Christmas if you want." I was like, "You can say Happy Holidays." I said the whole thing was I was like, I had a conversation with a couple of friends about it, where I was just like, I said to her, "You know what's crazy to me is we are," at the time I was having this conversation with her. I was like, "We are 2 days into Hanukkah," and I was like, "I have yet to see a single menorah or any sort of representation of that anywhere." And I said, and I was like, you can have both. They are not mutually exclusive of each other. We can celebrate one whilst we celebrate the other. I mean, I think that's cool that there's so many holidays that are happening at the same time. And that's why it's like, yeah. So I was just like, I just love having those conversations with my mom. So then every time I would pass, I'd be like, look, there's a menorah, there's a menorah, there's a menorah. So, you know, to each his own, but that's the whole thing. I was like, the more holidays, the merrier. Let's celebrate them all, baby. That's what I say. Um, Jamie says she loves hearing me talk about growth. Girl, I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time, but I appreciate it. um, oh, Seattle doesn't use any plastic bags at all. Oh, I can finally put all of my reusable bags to use that I constantly buy and always forget. I'm that guy too. If I were a character on Superstore, I would be Jonah. Like rewatching it, I think Jonah is just a perfect character because we're introduced as like he's the audience's like view into this like crazy environment that's a Walmart. Although the writers told me it was supposed to be a Target, but I was like, no way. I would but I the more you watch the show, the more you're like, Jonah is just like, Amy makes a thing and calls it like podcast mode to him at one point, and I was like, that is who he is. He's like that guy who's always trying to read and regurgitate and learn, and he does get better, but it's funny because when they call him out on it, he doesn't know how to continue it. And I was like, God, I'd be that person, I think. I'd be a combination of him and Mateo, though. But if you haven't watched that show, it's phenomenal, and it's one of the few hilarious shows that are all still on Hulu beginning to end. Although Hulu did also just add Schitt's Creek on there too, and I made sure to just casually watch the entire series again just to make sure that everybody knows how good it is. Um, yeah, Bill can't find a good bowl to celebrate Festivus. You got to be careful celebrating that in Florida, the lightning capital of like the United States. But that's great. Oh, that's great. Allie, she just got craft supplies. Okay, so I was actually having a conversation with my friend Kim about that, where I was like, I have friends who will be like, oh, just get rid of it, just get rid of it, just get rid of it. And I realized that in my life, I was like, I think it's very telling of my sort of like upbringing, because like I'm afraid to get rid of like a shoelace that isn't fully worn out because you're like, I could use this for something else. And the second you get rid of it, there it is. You needed twine to tie something and you don't have twine and you could have used an old shoelace. And it's just one of those things. I know old shoelace is like a weird example, but like I'm just one of those people where I'm like, oh, it's gonna bite me in the butt. Okay, so here's what I think we need to do. We need to band together, we'll buy a mansion. I'll live in about like 3 of the rooms, and then we'll isolate the other part and we'll call it like our little community center. So all of you can come out here and we can visit. It'll be like a resort, but I live at the resort. It's sort of like an overlook hotel, where we slowly go insane. But we'll have like crafting seminars. We'll have a drink seminars. We'll do cocktails and mocktails. We will do all the Babs recipes. So it'll be like a fun home economic resort that we go through. And I'll just live there like a caretaker and do videos inside of it too. So honest to God, I want to, if I was born a rich boy, I would have invested. I don't know that I'd be the person I am, obviously, but I'd like to think that if I came into money, I would invest in property in a way where I'd like community centers to be like a thing, but like a good thing that actually function, but like in that way, like I just described, like you've got to make it fun, got to make it accessible. But I just love, I love I think people ultimately, a lot of people want to create and just don't know the tools. Don't, for one, I think sometimes people don't know what they want to create. And then I don't think they know how to create it, because it's one of those things where like, I don't really paint. I mean, I paint, but I figured it out. I figured out tricks, and I know my limitations when it comes to painting, and I know I can try something and sometimes it'll be very frustrating and I can't do it, but I figured out how to do it enough where it was fun for me, and now I can make some stuff and like share it with people, and I love that. That's why when I sell paintings, I try not to sell them for like crazy amounts of money because I do think art is one of those very undervalued things that people never want to pay a lot of money for. I tell myself that all the time. I think there's a lot of incredibly talented people out here, but when it is something where you have like your hands were on it, or something you've made it. Allie sends me these cool cards in the time all the time in the mail. My friend Allie in here, and I just always think like, my God, these cards. She could sell those cards for like $20 a pack, but she just randomly sends me cards, and they're like the coolest freaking cards ever. They're like better than the kinds you can get at that like pop-up card store that's at like Disney Springs if you've ever been. But I just think like that's why I like to keep the prices like relatively low. Like obviously I bought canvas and the paints and the paintbrushes and my time and stuff like that, so I have to like roll that in. But I want people to have it and be able to enjoy it. That's the thing. It's like that's ultimately my main goal. It's not about making money or the profit. I mean, it's about making a little bit of money because usually it's because I spent too much on stupid toys or something like that. But um, uh, I don't know why I went on this diatribe too. God, see, this is why sometimes it's good to have another person here. They can like reel me in. Um, oh my God, Jamie, that is a great idea. Jamie was saying trying to find a place where you can storytell or do like D&D has been impossible. Community places like that don't exist. It's true. Jamie, I would tell you, look in a lot of comic book stores I've noticed, specifically around here, but other places I've been, a lot of them have now starting to adopt because I think like Dungeons and Dragons is having a renaissance right now. More like I think it's becoming more popular than maybe not more than it's ever has, but it's getting up into that like 80s. Obviously Stranger Things had a big thing to do with this, I think. But I've noticed a lot of comic stores will convert like the back half of it into an area, but I don't know how that works. If like you have to be employed there, if it is open to everybody or something, but something worth looking into. But oh, thank you, Trisha. I did talk about my birthday. It was good. It was very good, actually. It was very cool. It was very easy, and that's what I enjoyed. That's all I wanted. Um, oh, tiny home communities. Yeah. I like. I want. I don't want like a. I mean, someday I want to live in a house like that, and it's one of those. It feels impossible away, and that's also why I'm like 2023. I got to make some like changes, and I know a lot of that is like we've got to give up a lot of stuff, sacrifice stuff in order to get there and everything, but you shouldn't become another person to have to do that either. So the other part of that too is like the dream I have for said house is to have like a little like a basement, and in that basement, I want one part of that to be like a little mini studio, like for photos, like so like when I have birthdays or a party, like I want the guests to come over and be able to like pose down there, like a photo booth, photo spot area, and then that's where I want to record like YouTube videos and podcasts or whatever, for fun and stuff. So I want a lot of these like knickknacks I buy, I keep because it's like, well, one, I'm a very sentimental person, but a lot of it's like, oh, okay, I want like displays like this, and I want to like set them up that way, and I don't know. So it's like, I think ideally I'd love like a 4-bedroom house, 2 bathrooms, a basement, decent kitchen so that I think someday. So my friend RJ does food videos. RJ's Food Rocks. If you've never watched it, his earlier stuff, he did a lot of like theme park based food. He's a very talented human being, but I am fascinated with like food stuff, and I want to do some videos like that too because I have no idea how to do that, and I wonder if like making videos of me like trying will get me to learn. It's for no one's benefit but my own. It literally is not for views, not for money, not for anything. It's just I know that sometimes when I say there's going to be a video about it, it will make me like do my homework, sort of a thing. Like the other day, so for my birthday, because my mom always does this, she does meatballs in a crock pot for like New Year's. So you always have to have the meatballs there. So it was very important to me to have a crock pot full of meatballs at the house, my apartment. And I call this the house, and it's not. And I really have to stop. And I did the Hawaiian rolls because hello, those are delicious. But I bought 2 packs, and nobody ate meatballs. I mean, some people ate meatballs, but not enough people. But I also had gotten the soda pizza, so that was on me. Um, so the next, like, I don't know what day it was, the second or the third, I was like, you know what I really want? I was like, I'm gonna go down and I'm gonna make like an egg sandwich with this because there was a little bit of cheese left from like a charcuterie board. I knew I had tons of eggs. And I was like, and we had these things, and we had the meats from the charcuterie board too. So I was like, I'm gonna fry an egg. I'm gonna put it inside of this little. I'm gonna use two buns. I'm gonna cut them in half. I'm gonna put the egg in there. I'm gonna put the charcuterie in there and the little squares of cheese, one on either side, and then I'm gonna toast it or like squish it, like I'm in a movie, like I'm John Favreau and Chef or something like that. And I did three, and I think two were good. One was good, but I love that. I love that. I love that. I don't know. There's a guy I follow on. I can't look it up because I literally have no idea what his name is. On Instagram, but sometimes BuzzFeed Tasty uh will post videos of him, but he does like food on a college budget, and so it's like stuff that's like always under like $5, I think. I think the most expensive thing maybe he ever did was like 850 or something like that. But it's all like reusing stuff that you'd have, and it looks a lot of the times it's interesting. I think he like puts his videos together in a very Darren Aronofsky Requiem for a Dream, like that hard editing cut, which is great. So I think he edits his videos well, and there's like a rhythm to them. However, sometimes with like cooking videos, I feel like they go so fast, and if excuse me, now I have hiccups because of the beer. If you do not have the directions, I cannot follow you. And if you do not have the precise measurements, I cannot follow you. So I need those. So that's what's good about Babs. Babs walked you through it, but then also in her description, she's got the breakdown of the ingredients and everything like that. So that's good. So stuff like that. I love stuff like that. Someday I'm gonna just compile a whole thing. So I wanna expand the bourbon study this year too. I wanna like creatively do more with it. I feel like I've hit a wall in that sort of sense. I like doing it. It's just hard because I want to be on it, and there's only me filming it. So it's hard to be like, I want to do, like, I see it in my head almost, and I was like, I want to do it. But I think I've almost convinced Jill to build like a tiny little cooking studio in her garage to produce maybe something related to her at some point in life. I regret saying that on here, and I probably shouldn't have said that. So sorry. Um, but yeah, okay. I'm just reading through the chat a little bit here. Yeah, Samantha, I know you said you live in a tiny space, and so I I I think about that too. Like I sometimes I'm starting to finally get there where it's a more of like understanding the appreciation for a thing doesn't mean I need to have the thing. Um so there are things where I'm like, I like it, and then it's like being able to have that sort of patience and that mindset to be able to be like, 1 week from now, if I wake up and it's not here, am I gonna be upset? Like, do I actually want, um, and I think that's it, it's like Power Ranger stuff. Like, I'm like, I think I'm full full of Power Ranger stuff. Like, I like some of the new stuff, but in terms of like what I collect now, it'd be like the helmets, they're releasing the weapons, I'll get their weapons, like, and things like that. But there's a finite amount of those things, and it's like I keep my select stuff from when I was a kid and everything, but Um, so I'm in that mode now where I'm like, I can only do a little bit each day because I have some like emotional uh stuff to work through when I do it. So like I have to ramp myself up into it, and I'm just trying to like have a little box where it's like a donate, it's an eBay, and it's a give to friends and family and stuff, sort of a thing. So I have like little things where I'll be like, oh, this person, oh, this person, this person. I think I have undiagnosed ADHD, and I'm not trying to belittle it at all. I very much think I have it. My sister has it, and actually, I think two of my sisters have it now. So I think I have it, and I'm gonna go to a doctor to talk about it, but. I notice a lot of times I'll be in the middle of projects, and it's like, oh, I got to do this other thing right now. I'll die, and like sort of stuff like that all the time. So I have not seen this channel, How to Drink, though. I am gonna write a little note in here. How to drink. How to drink. I like inspiration things. I'm playing it on here. I shouldn't. Um, God, geez, 1.5 million subscribers. Good for him. I will check that out after. I've got it little bookmarked right here, so I appreciate that. Yes, Dave Adams is saying I still need a collection video. I'm definitely gonna do one of those. I 100%. I just need to like pick up the non, like, it's cluttered, but like the non-essential clutter that's like I have a bunch of boxes left over because I was gonna, like, ship a bunch of stuff, and so I have to, like, actually get my butt to the store to do it, so, um, yeah, I don't know if I'm seeking medication for ADHD, but I think I'm seeking counseling or, like, help or something method. I don't know, I'm not opposed to any of that stuff, but I just wanna, like, start that journey into being like, "How can we center ourselves?" A big thing is I saw a life coach once, like, one time, this was years and years, years not years and years and years ago, but, like, 10 years ago, and, sitting with them 'cause they weren't like a psychologist, or I don't know, maybe they were, but it was, we did a couple of exercises where it was about, like, being present, it was about, like, sitting and just, like, feeling the minute, like, feel the seconds go by, feel the thing go by that, like, kinda grounds you, and it was, very impactful that one time. So I definitely am open to a lot of different things like that, and I know everyone's journey is different and all those things, so I try to be respectful about that. Um, yeah, ultimately, so for me, in terms of, like, all the stuff, I know, Tori, you said about editing, and I think it's sort of that stuff where, I talked about grandparents earlier and things like that, and so it's like, none of the material stuff really matters. Like, it does matter, but there's a lot of stuff where I was like, it won't. If it all went away and it meant I got to spend 10 more minutes with someone I love, it would be worth it, I think, and that's why it's like, okay. But this is also my, like, Scrooge McDuck gold, so it's always like, "No, this is, like, my weird investment stuff." Like, if something happened to Artie or Rocket, I would sell every single thing I own and live in a refrigerator box under the bridge, just to make sure that I could be with them a little bit longer, so it's like, okay. Um, but, we all operate different too. That's fine, and that's okay. Um, Let me read through this a little bit more. Oh, man, I said I was gonna do this for 30 minutes, and it's been going on for 42 minutes. Mm. Julius, you old so and so, you did it. Oh, okay. I know what I wanted to say before I go. Here we are. I should have made notes or something. Um, I've been trying to be good about, like, sitting and watching stuff because I hate having to do too much. Because again, I think that adds to the freneticness of my whatever's going on with me. So I think it's really, like, forcing myself to be like, okay, there's a time to do multiple things at once, and there's a time to do one thing at once. And since I love, like, film, and that's what I went to school for and everything, I'm very I love a comedy on in the background that I've seen, I'll watch a million times. I can put Schitt's Creek, Superstore, Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I can put Parks and Rec, The Office, those stuff can be on in the background. I don't wanna put, like, Wednesday on in the background and not pay attention to that. Like, that's a show where I was like, "I've gotta look at how they filmed it. I wanna see how they did it," you know? I don't want a movie I haven't watched on in the background. I have to watch it. And so I'm trying to be good about sitting there and watching it. So I did. I watched The Menu the other night on HBO Max. It was very good. Um, I don't It's like a horror movie, but not a horror movie. Like, it is a horror movie, but it's not one that I don't think people who are normally like, "I don't like horror movies," couldn't watch. It's not like it's, like, overly gory or anything like that. Like, there's a little bit of blood at one point, or maybe like 2 point, but not it wasn't there was no moment where it was, like, exceedingly graphic, I felt like. Of course, I probably blocked out if there was one, but, the acting in it was excellent, and, it was very good. Like, I started it so late at night, like, I think I started at, like, 11, and I was like, "Why am I sitting down to watch this movie at 11 p.m.? I'm gonna fall asleep." And I was, like, wide-eyed the whole time, and I was, like, not even tired a single second in it. So, highly recommend that. Um when we're talking about horror movies, Barbarian was very good as well, also on HBO. I watched that a couple months ago, though, whenever that first one on there, but that movie is like a wowzer. But also very good. It's a very good movie. I think we are living in a new age of horror right now, which is funny because when I was younger, I wanted to go to school for, like, special effects makeup, but in, like, 2003, there was nowhere. The internet wasn't really what it was right now, and there was no way to, like, find that school, and that's more of, like, a technical skill, and also we were at the beginning of the computer age, so it was, like, dead essentially, but now I feel like we've leaned back into, like, I think we're finally finding that blend of the 2, and that people want that physical object there, and so I think, like, there's this rise again in that physical effect. But I always thought maybe I want to do some like horror makeup or like I don't know, maybe it's because I like Star Trek and Buffy and like Power Rangers and that sort of thing. Like those things inherently have like costumes and makeup and stuff. But I like when they're there. That's what I loved about Buffy. That was always there. Um oh, D, I watched oh, there's only 2 seasons of Picard. Picard season 3 starts next month. I'm very excited for that. Picard season 2 was pretty good. I really liked it. It's a very easy watch, but that was another show where I was like, I'm gonna sit and watch this. I don't want to be doing anything else in the background. So I like devoted a weekend. Oh, Knives Out. That was the other one. I saw Glass Onion. I saw it in the theater actually the week of Thanksgiving, but I didn't do like a video or anything about it. But I mean, I guess I could start doing things like that, but it was so good. If you have not watched this, it's on Netflix. You do not have to have seen the Knives Out movie to watch Glass Onion. They are separate movies entirely. The only thing that is the same is there is a detective from the first one, and I don't even believe they even make a single reference to the first one. They just say something about him solving a murder that I don't even believe is the murder in the first one. So it wasn't even really a murder in the first one, I don't think. I can't remember. I got to rewatch the first one again. But you don't have to. You honest to God, I swear, because that's Rian Johnson's whole thing is that he only wants the one character. He doesn't want them connected at all. So they're like separate movies. The information is delivered in a separate way. I think it's just as good, if not. I might like Glass Onion better. I don't know. I've got to rewatch that one too. But that was so good. I also watched Spirited on Apple TV, and I thought that was okay. I didn't love it. I wanted to be in love with it. But I didn't hate it either. But it very much, feel bad saying it. It very much felt like a movie that was made for a streamer. But I don't mean that in a bad way, because I think if you were to put that in a category, I'd say it was a very good movie for a streamer. But it was like, I thought there was an insane amount of songs in it. First of all, I thought it was going to be like 5 songs. And I thought everybody in the movie was very good and the songs were fun, but my friend's like obsessed with it. But I thought it was okay. I think I was a little out of it too while I was watching it. So it's like, But I have not watched White Lotus yet. I really have to watch White Lotus because I know I'd love it. I love Jennifer Coolidge. They are making a third Knives Out that I believe Rian Johnson is starting to write right now. I watched a Variety interview with him the other day about where he breaks down a scene from it, and it's very. I love listening to people who love making movies talk about making movies, because I feel like they still haven't lost that love of it. And he talks about like how these angles are moving forward to frame characters and stuff, and I love that stuff. I like, because it's always one of those, film is a language that you've learned how to speak, and a lot of people will be like, oh, I just watch movies, I don't break it down, whatever. But then it's like, I love to be like, okay, well, what's your favorite movie? And then we can break it down why it's your favorite movie. There's a lot of movies where it's rooted in nostalgia. I watched all the time as a kid. You could say like E.T., blah, blah, blah. But then when you get down to it, like, let's move backwards. Okay, well, why E.T. is a great movie. Like, this is, E.T. was filmed in loosely in chronological order, which is kind of unheard of. But Spielberg wanted to do that because he wanted the kids to kind of experience it as a story from beginning to end. So they'd have more of an emotional impact. And like, most of the movie was filmed at the height of a child. That's why, except for the mother, we don't really see anybody until the end of the movie from above the like hip and things like that. And also that it's really a movie about a family going through a divorce. And I never got that, but being a kid from a family divorce, like, so it was always like, I always felt for the mother. And now as an adult, it's like, how does this work in so many ways? I love that stuff. I love it. I love it so much. I feel like that girl who does the funny like ASMR videos, that teenager, but anyway. Okay. Samantha, I do agree. The first one was, I remember sitting in the movie theater for Knives Out, the first one, and being like, they kind of like reveal everything in the first, like, I don't know, 20 minutes of the movie, and you're like, what's the rest of this movie about? And having this weird like, oh, like sinking feeling, but then immediately like, what? Like it pulls it like, so I think in terms of it telling its story, it's like crazy in that way. And I think Glass Onion might be a little more in line with like a classic Agatha Christie story, whereas like the first Knives Out was like a very interesting twist on it all, and then Glass Onion was a little more like, this is the format of Agatha Christie. But Yeah, I don't actually know what I mean, I have a film degree in terms of, like, film studies, but I don't pretend like that makes me better or know more than anybody else. I just am saying that's what I love about learning about movies. Like, I could be a professional student. I'd be, like, happy. That's why I think someday I wanna kinda teach. I think I wanna maybe look into, like, a master's degree or something like that because I can't do it with a bachelor's, really. I mean, you can, but I don't think you can do it at the collegiate level. But, I just think I just I just think, like, it's so cool. Like, I love like, there's a thing with, like, J.J. Abrams, he uses these really long shots, but he also has this, like, romance to his shots that's, like, an homage to Spielberg, but it's all still, like, his own take on that version of Spielberg, in the same way, like, Christopher Nolan is also like Spielberg, but in his own way, and it's just, like it's fascinating to me to just like learn about like, oh, why you feel uneasy when you watch this shot. You think about it. We take for granted a lot of this stuff about it, where it's like, oh, it's a combination of things because it's like remove the music, put different music in, the scene changes completely. Switch the camera angle, the meaning changes completely. Camera pans. Normally a camera pans from left to right, but when a camera pans from right to left, it usually indicates like danger or something because we're used to this other swaying motion because we read left to right. So subconsciously we start to think, oh, there's something off, and it's like this. I love stuff like that. Like spirals represent going into like a character losing their mind and insanity, things like that. I just yeah, I just enjoy it very much. Okay, well, it's been almost an hour. I'm gonna go. Because I still want to be productive today. I say that now, and I don't think I will be. But I do very much appreciate everybody who has tuned in or will tune in later. I don't. I'm just rambling, and I just wanted to say I'm still here. That I've made it into 2023, as I hope all of you did as well, and I hope you did it with some sort of ease. And I look forward to doing more of these. I don't know that I'll do a live stream every week. I mean, I could. It's fun. I don't know. I like doing it. It's kind of like we're all in therapy together and we're just chatting, like group therapy. It's fun. It, and we'll do this again when we have our compound that we all invest in, right? Like, is that what I should do? Should I start the GoFundMe now and we can put it out in the world? And we'll just say, like, I'll be the caretaker. It's like my own little Jack Torrance, like uh, the uh, the the house that the internet bought, something like that. We'll call it something clever like that. But Trey, I have not watched. I do watch Only Murders in the Building. It's a phenomenal show. I have not watched season 2 yet, so no spoilers. That is one I keep forgetting. So I have got to get back to that. That's gonna be my next one. So hey, every now and then I get a scratch ticket. It's just because my grandfather likes scratch tickets, so every now and then it's like, I'm gonna get one. Oh my god, I bought so many for him at Christmas. And he did them for like hours. People were like mad at me for getting them for him, and I was like, I didn't want him to be stressed out, and he enjoyed it. So anyway, thank you everybody. I look forward to seeing you on the compound. Thank you for all of your support and chatting and just hanging out, and it's fun. Let's do this again soon. I don't know. I don't know. I'll have a video. I'll have some other type of a video up soon. I haven't done it yet, but I'm getting better about it. I've decided I'm committed to finding the tools that work best for me. Like these microphones are just like the best things that have ever been invented in that they work so well for me. So it's just made part of my life so much easier. So they were 100% worth that investment, which I got through the support of people for the bourbon study and stuff like that. So I was appreciated, um, but yeah, anyway, stay tuned. I got some more stuff I want to do. And yeah, I hope you're all doing well, staying safe, sappy, say blah, blah, blah. Too much Julius. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. And I'll see you soon. So because I'm not like being like, oh, whatever. If you're not subscribed to the channel, subscribe. And if you want to check out when the live streams happen. I think if you click the bell, it like will send you like a little buzz on your app or in your email or something. It'll be like, hey, Ryno's not live or whatever. I'm not doing it to be like, oh, support me, blah blah. But I know some people like to be in live because of the chat. So that's just all I'm saying is I think that's how to do it. But I don't know how reliable it is. So like, but I'm inconsistent. So I'm saying like that's how you can stay along with us. So thank you, everybody. And if you aren't subscribed to the Ampliverse, which is youtube.com/the Ampliverse, I would go over there and check that out, because I did my bourbon study videos I did with Jill on Friday, but we did it we did it live, and it was actually a lot of fun, and it was cool to have like a chat room in there. So I don't know that I'm not going to do them live all the time, but I think maybe we'll do like a tasting or something like that live every now and then over there. So like just something else to tune in over there. So cool. Awesome. I'm reliably unreliable. So thank you, everybody. I will see you later. Goodbye.